Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. Los Angeles fires rage on, people advised to stay indoors as air quality deteriorates. Crude prices jump as US imposes sweeping sanctions against Russian oil industry. India's coal mine tragedy, bodies of 4 miners retrieved amid ongoing rescue efforts. And in sports, Australian Open set to kick off on Sunday, defending champion Jannik Sinner and Aryna Sabalenka favourites to retain the title. Russia on Saturday claimed that Ukraine launched drone strikes across several regions. The drones hit 2 residential houses in Tambov region, injuring at least 3 people. Russia's defense ministry said it intercepted and destroyed some 85 Ukrainian drones overnight in several regions of the country. Meanwhile, Kiev's Air Force shot down 47 of some 74 drones in an overnight strike by Russia on Saturday, while 27 drones disappeared from radars without reaching their targets. The strike damaged buildings and vehicles in several different regions by falling debris from the downed drones. No casualties had been reported. Meanwhile, the United States and Britain on Friday imposed new sanctions targeting Russia's energy sector, including Russian oil majors Gazprom, Neft and Sagut-Nefgaz. The UK's shipping sanctions prohibit the vessel's movement and access to some of Britain's ports. The move aims to give Kiev and Donald Trump's incoming team some leverage to reach a deal for peace in Ukraine and cut Russia's revenues. The sanctions are part of a broader effort as the Biden administration has furnished Ukraine with $64 billion in military aid since the invasion, including $500 million this week for air defense, missiles and support equipment for fighter jets. US President Joe Biden has said new sanctions will substantially raise gas prices and would have profound effect on Russia's economy and reduce Putin's war chest.
Sanctions are imposed today because they will have profound effect on the growth of the Russian economy and make it more difficult for Putin to conduct his wars. It is probable that gas prices could increase as much as 3-4 cents a gallon, but it's going to have a more profound impact on Russia's ability to continue to act in the way it's acting in the conduct of war.
The announcement comes just 10 days before Biden is due to step down and puts President-elect Donald Trump's incoming team, gives them some leverage to reach a deal for peace in Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked his US counterpart Biden for the unwavering support. The Biden administration has been steadfast in its support for Ukraine, announcing almost $6 billion in new military and budget assistance last month, ahead of Trump's return. Biden has raced to provide as much aid to Kiev as possible ahead of President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th, amid fears the Republican will slash support for the US ally once in power. After the announcement of the United States and Britain on sanctions against Russia's energy sector, global oil price jumped over 3%, with Brent crude nearing $80 a barrel. As a document mapping out the sanctions circulated among traders in Europe and Asia, as Russia pumps around 10% of global oil supply, the sanctions would cause severe disruption to Russian oil trade to its biggest buyers like India and China. The US Treasury rescinded a provision that had exempted the intermediation of energy payments from sanctions on Russian banks. The sanctions should cost Russia billions of dollars per month if sufficiently enforced. Moving on, as Donald Trump's threat of annexation of Greenland to the US raises eyebrows across the globe, Prime Minister of the world's biggest island, Mute Egede, has raised voice for independence. Both Denmark and Greenland have, however, expressed willingness to engage with the US President-elect.
While Donald Trump's idea to annex Greenland has sparked new controversy in Europe, the Greenland Prime Minister, Mute Egede, stood firm, insisting that Greenland's future will be determined by its people.
We don't want to be Danes, we don't want to be Americans, we want to be Greenlandic, and of course it is the Greenlandic people who decide their future.
Egde's remarks came as he met Denmark Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen in Copenhagen and deliberated upon the impact of Trump's statement. Later, both leaders addressed a joint press conference and revealed their own understanding of the situation. Greenland Prime Minister said, however, that he was open to talk to Trump in this regard. Denmark, which governs Greenland, said Greenland's sovereignty remains non-negotiable.
And when it comes to the question of independence, I would like to reiterate that in our eyes, it is a decision that starts and ends in Nuuk and in Greenland. Greenland belongs to the Greenlandic people and no one else.
Earlier, many European leaders, including German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, French President Emmanuel Macron and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni have also voiced their concerns, with Scholz reiterating that borders should never be moved by force. Meloni, on the other hand, ruled out the possibility of the US using force to annex Greenland, calling Trump's remarks a message to China. As climate change opens up new shipping routes, the Arctic is increasingly becoming a geopolitical battleground. However, the question remains, will Greenland's sovereignty will be unchallenged or will geopolitical pressures reshape its future? Bureau Report, DD India.
On to our next big story. The devastating wildfires in California's Los Angeles has killed at least 11 people, destroyed some 10,000 buildings, caused evacuation of over 180,000 people. The massive fire burning since Tuesday has resulted in a damage, the estimations are around $150 billion, spread to residential areas. The blaze had engulfed neighborhood of Hollywood that was also evacuated. The order was later lifted on Thursday morning after the fire in the hills were brought under control. Californians on Friday demanded to know who is at fault for the vast devastation as a strict curfew went into force to prevent looting and lawlessness.
I think it's a combination of 50-50, you know, government could have done a better job. Maybe they were to blame, also nature, climate change. Too many fingers to point at this moment that I don't have time, you know, more so thinking about where am I going to live? Because even if our building is standing, there's nothing nearby. The air quality is terrible. I feel for people who don't have the privilege like me to be okay and feel safe. And I mean, it's just one thing after another. They won't let us breathe.
Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden affirmed full support of the White House in response to the ongoing fires and its impact.
We've still got a long way to go, as we're out to hear from the governor and others. And while the winds have died down for the time, we expect they'll remain a threat until early next week. So we're going to keep working 24/7 to support state and local officials to fully stop these fires as soon as possible.
The officials issued air quality alerts, urged people to stay indoors in areas where smoke was visible. Schools cancelled classes. Scientists warned about fatal consequences of the wildfire smoke. Environmentalists and doctors warn that particulate matter poses hazard to people with pre-existing lung and heart conditions, as well as the elderly and children. And for the latest, DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us live at the moment. Akshay, what is the latest on the wildfire situation in Los Angeles, and how are the resources, capacity of the administration pushed to the brink really to contain them?
Well, absolutely. In fact, Shirendu, it's not just the active duty firefighters that have been called into duty as far as the operations are concerned, but the government has also issued notices to even the retired firefighters to come and serve as far as the blazes are concerned. So it's not just one fire that is there in Los Angeles right now. There are multiple fires. In fact, over 5 fires have been reported. These are major fires we are talking about that are devastating the different communities. When in fact we have heard the reaction of people. The air quality is going down. People have lost their homes. People have lost their lifetimes of savings. People have, many people have died. In fact, as you rightly mentioned, the latest figure of a death toll right now is 11, and several people have also gotten injured. Have been burnt in these fires. We cannot even imagine the kind of losses to the wildlife that has caused due to these fires that are taking place. And even though LA is not seeing these kind of fires for the first time, but the kind of fire that we are seeing this time around is unprecedented. In fact, one of the wealthiest suburbs, one of the wealthiest states of the United States, California alone, accounting to several trillion dollars of worth of economy, is facing these kind of situations. Really goes on to show that first of all, the authorities were not prepared for this. Probably the experts were not consulted enough, or the when the fires had started, there are reports coming in that many reservoirs which could have been repaired and which could have been there filled with water were empty, and that perhaps has also led to the present situation. Back to you.
Right, Akshay. If we look at the bigger picture, 2024 has been declared as the hottest year on record. To what extent are these devastating fires seen as a sort of direct outcome of climate change?
Well, Shubhendu, you have rightly mentioned, even though the authorities have failed, but the kind of fires that we are seeing is a direct result of climate change. Now, the reason behind this is obviously the Santa and winds that we are seeing that are cold and that are dry, gushing to California states. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's not just the hot weather that is contributing, but it is a combination of different kind of extreme weather patterns that are resulting in this fire. For example, in 2022 and 2023, California received heavy rainfall in the entire state, unprecedented kind of a rainfall, which resulted into a lot of trees, bushes, shrubs growing. So a lot of fauna and flora evolved as far as these kind of rainfall is concerned. And then suddenly, after just a year, in this year, we are seeing a record drought in the region. So all the trees that had grown because of the extreme rainfall in 2022 and 2023, they are parched now. The woods have become the woods have all become dry and parched. There is no water in the soil or for trees to absorb, and that has being the direct impact of climate change. So for example, we are seeing extreme rainfall, then we are seeing extreme drought, and these kind of weather patterns are a direct result of climate change, and they can result into fires like these. And this is just a beginning. Experts are warning, because if the weather pattern continue to remain the same, then it will not only be just California, but different parts of the world which will see these kind of devastating fires. And this is in fact a tragedy unfolding right in front of us.
Akshay, thank you for joining us with those updates. South Korea's transport ministry revealed that flight recorders on Jeju Air flight stopped recording 4 minutes before its crash at Muar Airport on December 29th, killing 179 people. The airliner belly landed, overshot the runway and exploded after striking a concrete embankment. Investigators are analyzing why black boxes malfunctioned with the voice recorder and damaged flight data recorder sent to the US for detailed examination. The pilots reported a bird strike and declared an emergency moments before the crash. 2 injured crew members seated in the tail section of the aircraft were rescued from the wreckage. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was sworn in for a 3rd term in a ceremony, but it was decreed as illegitimate by the opposition and many countries in the West. His challenger in July's election, Edmundo Gonzalez, recognized by the United States and much of Latin America as the legitimate winner, said that Maduro had crowned himself a dictator and staged a coup. Washington and London issued a bevy of sanctions on Maduro's regime, with US Secretary of State Antony Blinken slamming the inauguration as illegitimate. In a sign of Maduro's isolation, only two prominent regional leaders, Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel and Nicaraguan ex-guerrilla Daniel Ortega, attended his inauguration. Russian President Vladimir Putin sent his congratulations. Still to come on DD India NewsHour. Ayodhya is celebrating first anniversary of Ram Temple's Pran Pratishtha. Prayagraj gearing up for Maha Kumbh 2025. And glimpses of colourful Elvis Festival parade in parks, Australia.
As India goes through its development journey, India wishes to get the diaspora on board, make them stakeholders in this growth journey. Prasar Bharati Divas 2025, the grand convention that brought the diaspora on one platform. The diaspora's contribution to Viksit Bharat or developed India. You have been an integral part of our culture, now become a part of India's growth story. Watch the biggest highlights of the Prasar Bharati Divas 2025 only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Ayodhya is celebrating the first anniversary of Ram Temple's Pran Pratishtha ceremony. The Ram Janmabhoomi Temple, inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi on January 22nd last year, marks 1 year since its operations began. Celebrations are taking place from today to 13th of this month, with Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath of Uttar Pradesh attending the event. The Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust revealed that over 200,000 devotees visited the temple on 1st January. The month of January also holds immense significance, with the Maha Kumbh in Prayagraj drawing massive crowds to Ayodhya. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his best wishes to all on the first anniversary of the consecration of Ram Lalla in Ayodhya. On platform X, he writes, and I quote, "This temple, built after centuries of sacrifice, penance and struggle, is a great heritage of our culture and spirituality. I'm confident that this divine and magnificent Ram temple will become a great inspiration in the accomplishment of resolution of a developed India." Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust have a memorandum of understanding with Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani Hospital in Ayodhya. This initiative, established by Sri Madhusudan Sai Global Humanitarian Mission, offers all its facilities free of cost to pilgrims, serving as a small tribute to the ideal of Ram Rajya. DD India correspondent Ajay Mishra spoke to the chairman of the Sanjeevani Hospital.
This is a very special center. This is the Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani Hospital, which is situated in the facility center of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra, which has served more than 5 lakh people till now. We have with us the chairman of this very special institution, Mr. Srinivas, to talk to us exclusively on DD India. Sir, how has been the response? It has been a year so far. Tell us about this Sanjeevani Hospital that you are running.
We were invited by the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Ayodhya when the Ram Temple was to be opened in January 2024. So we took that as a blessing, as an opportunity of service in the sacred land of Ayodhya and in the sacred premises. It is 1 year today for the opening of the temple. To date, we have served 5,60,000 pilgrims, and many of them were critically ill patients.
What are the facilities that the people out here can get when they arrive at this critical?
The large number of pilgrims come in all ages, and predominantly the ages are on the elderly side. So critical ailments, many of them do suffer from. So this has been of immense service, and we have had to start a critical care facility also, because there is nothing in the premises of the temple. And you know, the first hour of care in a critical is important. So we have a critical care specialist who's present here all the time.
What are your future plans? As you just stated that the temple construction is still in the construction. So what is your future plan like? Are you going to expand these facilities?
We already serve a large number of children and families of Uttar Pradesh. So Ayodhya and these parts are not new to us. So we possibly would step up care, and even the local chief minister, Shri Yogi Adityanath, where we had meetings with him, has been speaking about enhancing healthcare in Uttar Pradesh.
We can see the happiness on the face of these pilgrims, who in the emergency situation can come at one place where they can get all the medical assistance. With camera person Shiv Suman, Ajay Mishra, DD India, Ayodhya Ram.
And my colleague Ajay Mishra now joins us live from Ayodhya. Ajay, if you could take us through the sentiments of the devotees who are thronging Ayodhya and Ram Temple today, and the significance of the day.
I think it's the emotions out here are quite unusual, and the feelings are as many as people you can count behind me. I think more than 1 lakh people must have come and visited Sri Ram Janambhoomi on this very auspicious day, because this is the day of Kurma Dwadashi, which is the 12th day in the full moon cycle, which is aligned with the traditional Hindu calendar. And according to the Tithi, this Pratishtha Dwadashi is being celebrated starting from today, and it will go on for 12th and 13th of January. It's a very special moment for Ayodhya because on this very day, on this very Tithi, if I can use that word, on Kurma Dwadashi, which is also the day of incarnation of Lord Vishnu as Kurma avatar, which is also have a linkage with the Samudra Manthan. Already you know that this Samudra Manthan story is also linked with the Maha Kumbh 2025. So 2025 is very special year for UP in general and Prayagraj and Ayodhya in particular, because you will see a grander temple being constructed during 2025 going forward. By August, we will see the shikhar of this main sanctum being built. There are 11 temples which are under construction in different stages. We will also see completion of some of them. We believe that the activities around the temple and the building of this temple city is going to get momentum in the 2025. But as far as this emotions of this particular day is concerned, today is a very sacred day, the 12th day, Kurma Dwadashi, and as I was explaining that some people are expressing their feelings through tears, some are putting their forehead on the ground to seek the blessings of Lord Rama, and also this very pious ground of Ayodhya, which have the power to actually attract the universal supreme power, even from the universal abode, as we say and discuss and learn from the Sanatan spiritual discourses.
Right. And Ajay, as you mentioned, Ayodhya is celebrating the first anniversary of the Ram Temple Pran Pratishtha. How has the temple town transformed in this past year?
I think it is transformed for better, and there is a great great developmental work which are being done in Ayodhya. In the next 10 years, it is estimated that 85,000 crore rupees will be invested in UP. As per the data received by the UP Investor Summit, 48,000 crores are going to be invested in Ayodhya, Mathura and Kashi. These three very special triangle of spirituality which is in Uttar Pradesh. So this is going to transform the Uttar Pradesh economy, and as you can see that there is already a lot of investment in Maha Kumbh in Prayagraj, and we can see the impact on the economy of the Uttar Pradesh. This is the first solar city of the world which has been created, because this city has also linkage with Lord Sun, because Lord Ram has been in the tradition of Lord Sun, and he was a Suryavanshi. So on that line, the Ayodhya Nagar Nigam has identifies the city and actually tried to make this city the first solar city of the world. So there are so many great developmental work which are being done. There are some local issues which people are facing because of the developmental work, but in the long run, I think just like Deepavali, just like Kartik Amavasya and also Ram Navami, Pratishtha Dwadasi is going to be a grand affair from going on from here and will be remembered for long. This was the first experience and the trust has said that they will take a call whether to celebrate it next year or not. But today's day has been very, very special in terms of, spiritual enhancement of the people who are coming out here across the country and also from some part of the world.
Right there. Ajay, appreciate you joining us with those updates and insights from Ayodhya. From Ayodhya to Prayagraj, one of the sacred pilgrimage sites in North India is gearing up for the Maha Kumbh 2025, which is set to begin on the 13th of this month. DD India's Siddharth Bharadwaj takes stock of the medical facilities put in place by the administration at the site.
We are at a temporary medical camp set up by the authorities to ensure safety and health of all the pilgrims who will be participating in this grand event. So here, with the help of the QR code, the patients who are coming here can easily get themselves registered. The registration process is very simple. As you can see, the QR code which has been put up here, in 4 simple steps, a patient can register themselves. In fact, to deal with any emergency situation, a 24-hour emergency room has also been set up here. This temporary medical facility at Maha Kumbh 2025 is a comprehensive setup featuring 32 around fully equipped departments, including an ultrasound room, an X-ray room, an ECG room, and a vaccination room. The camp is designed with all essential medical resources, ensuring readiness for a wide range of health needs. It also houses both a minor and a major operation theatre, equipped to handle various medical procedures. And additionally, an ICU is available for critical cases, ensuring immediate specialized care.
This is 100-bedded hospital. It's a temporary hospital. It included 13 specialist doctors. Total doctors are 30 here, already allotted by the governments. There are 25 ambulance services already allotted in this central hospital, and total ambulance services in Mela Kshetra is 125.
The authorities are leaving no stone unturned in ensuring safety and health for all the people who will be coming to this grand event. With camera person Rakesh Kumar, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
The much-awaited International Kite Festival 2025 kicked off in India's western state of Gujarat on Saturday. The festival, which runs from January 11 to January 14th, aims to promote Uttarayan festival globally, attract kite enthusiasts from across the world. This year, 143 kite flyers from 47 countries, along with 52 kite flyers from 11 states in India, are participating in the festival. It not only celebrates the cultural heritage of Uttarayan, but also promotes Gujarat's tourism on a global scale. My colleague Meghna gets us more.
Kiteists from across the world have reached Gujarat for the annual International Kite Festival. The festival was inaugurated today by Chief Minister of Gujarat, Bhupendra Patel. This time, the festival has brought together 143 kite enthusiasts from 47 countries to Ahmedabad and nearby cities. Many of them are frequent visitors at the festival.
Kite festivals I've been to in the world. I've gone to the ones, I was in Cape Town, South Africa a few weeks ago. I'll be in Colombia next month. I look forward to India.
I'm really enjoyed to flying kites here in Ahmedabad. And this year I brought my kite. It's Delta kite, which is with traditional Russian decoration.
It's my first time here. It's incredible. Like, people are so nice here, and everything's so colorful, and I'm really enjoying it.
The festival is regarded as one of the most popular kite festivals in the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during his tenure as Chief Minister of Gujarat, had popularized this festival on a global scale. The 4-day-long festival brings kites of all shapes and sizes and from different cultures and traditions.
I brought about 40 kites, and I hope I get to fly them all. This is bigger than anything I've been to. This is absolutely amazing.
My experience is very, very good. I'm very, very happy the participation to year in this festival.
Many kiteists from different Indian states and different cities in Gujarat have joined for the festival. The festival comes ahead of the Indian festival of Uttarayan, also known as Makar Sankranti.
Uttarayan, is celebrated across the state. During the festival, everyone takes to the rooftops and roadways to fly kites and compete with their neighbors. The main competition is to battle nearby kite flyers to cut their strings and bring down their kites.
We have been participating in this kite festival right since the first festival in 1989, and we have seen how it has evolved, how it has grown. In the first festival, there were maybe 4 or 5 international flyers and 20 Indian flyers, but now we have more than 120 international flyers. And if you go to see even Indian flyers, not all of them are here, but more than 500.
For so many years we've been participating in this event, and you can see a lot of people from different part of the country and as well as from the different countries.
The kite festival will also be celebrated at major centers of kite flying in Vadodara, Statue of Unity, Rajkot and Shivrajpur Beach in Dwarka.
It's one sky, one world that brings all these kiters together at this International Kite Festival. Definitely, it's a sight to behold with so many people coming on the same platform from across the globe. With my colleague Krishna Shah, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
What a treat for kite lovers and onlookers. Still to come on DD India NewsHour. In Japan, thick snow blankets parts of central and northern region. A storm in southern United States results in cancellation of more than 3,000 flights across multiple airports. And we take up the update on the weather situation in North India.
Harboring and supporting terrorists never brings long-term gains for any establishment. This week, when Justin Trudeau announced his decision to resign as Prime Minister.
Part of the blame at least lies on his cultivation of Khalistani radical elements.
India has shared evidence of Khalistani radicals, of gangsters, of people who are taking law into their own hands, and the Canadian government has looked the other way.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Our top stories. Los Angeles fires rage on. People advised to stay indoors as air quality deteriorates. Crude prices jump as US imposes sweeping sanctions against Russian oil industry. In sports, Australian Open set to kick off on Sunday, defending the champion Jannik Sinner and Aryna Sabalenka favourites to retain the title. Let's now scan through other stories making news around the world. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba met with Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto on Saturday at the Presidential Palace in Bogor. During the meeting, both the leaders agreed to launch consultations between defence officials on maritime security, including defence equipment and technical cooperation. The Japanese Prime Minister also called for strengthening of bilateral and regional cooperation with Indonesia. A second Sydney synagogue has been vandalized with swastikas in as many days in an attack on the Jewish community that was said to be intended to erode social cohesion. The Newton Synagogue in Sydney's inner west was the latest site targeted, with red swastikas spray painted across its front walls. Police are investigating the incident and attended the scene on Saturday morning. The vandalism came hours after similar graffiti was spray painted on a house on Henry Street, Queen's Park in Sydney's east. Protests erupted at a Chinese vocational school after students' mysterious death, leading to clashes with police. A footage showed dozens of people, officers in riot gear, retreating from an angry crowd that was flinging rods and other objects at them. Earlier, a joint investigation team put together for the case ruled out any crime, informed the students' family of their conclusion. However, the family members have accused it of a cover-up. Donning lacquered wigs, bedazzled jumpsuits and marine-inspired outfits, Hundreds took to the streets of Australian country town Parkes on Saturday, dancing and singing at the iconic Elvis Festival parade. The 32nd year festival, themed around Presley's 1967 film Easy Come, Easy Go, marks what would have been his 90th birthday. The year's spectacle featured die-hard fans dressed up as their idol, complete with diving suits, sailor hats, posing and waving in vintage cars and floats. The festival will come to an end on Sunday. In weather updates from around the globe, in Japan, thick snow blanketed parts of central and northern region on Saturday. The Niigata prefecture area received up to 30 centimeters of snow in the past 24 hours. Vehicles drove through streets that had been freshly cleared of snow by constructing diggers in the city of Numa. Officials called on citizens to remain vigilant for avalanches, snow falling from rooftops and traffic due to prevailing conditions. A storm in southern United States resulted in cancellation of more than 3,000 flights across multiple airports on Friday. Thousands other flights were delayed as per airlines and trafficking website. One of the major US airline, Delta, cancelled approximately 1,100 flights across the network, had to shut down all 5 runways at Atlanta International Airport for more than a couple of hours due to severe storm. And in India, after 2 days of sunshine, the national capital is facing heavy rains over the weekend. Weather Observatory also stated that nights in Delhi NCR are becoming colder due to rapidly falling nighttime temperatures, while daytime temperatures remain stable. Apart from Delhi, light to moderate rains with thunder is expected in some parts of Rajasthan. Cold wave conditions also continue to persist in Kashmir as the region is currently facing the 40-day period of harsh winters. Met Department has forecast mainly dry weather in coming days, with possibility of light rains or snow at isolated places on January 11th and 12th. And Tahir Nadeem joins us from Bhaderwah, Jammu and Kashmir on the weather situation. Tahir, if you can take us through how the harsh winters is impacting normal life in the region.
Well, Dipindu, as you said, the entire Chenab region, or you can say hilly areas of Jammu region, are really under intense cold wave condition, and we are there in sub-zero territory since last 20 days, which have made life difficult for the locals here as well. But this is not an unusual thing, because we are in the middle of 40-day long intense winter cold, which is locally called as Chilaikla. So because of that, all the water bodies have got frozen, due to which potable water supply has affected badly. There is even erratic power supply, because all the people over here are using electric gadgets to keep themselves warm. Due to this, there is always overloading of that electricity, and there are scheduled and unscheduled power cuts, due to which people are facing problems, and there are slippery roads. After 28th December's heavy snowfall, the snow and even the water bodies have turned into ice, and the roads have become extremely slippery, because people over here mainly live on the slopes, and it has become them for very difficult to maneuver on those snowy, icy roads. Although administration has made all the arrangements, they have made contingency plan, but people have to face these hardships. And not only this, they are also facing some health issues, because according to data, there is increased intensity of heart attacks and even heart failures over there, and doctors have said this is because of the cold wave condition, because of the extreme cold and sub-zero temperature. Although doctors have cautioned people not to expose themselves to the long period of cold, especially the children and older ones, which leads to hypothermia. That is a main cause of constriction of blood vessels, which leads to myocardial infarction, or in simple words, we can say heart attacks. So people have been cautioned on that as well. Although administration is making all the arrangements, but people still are facing some problems, and in absence of continuous power supply. They have come back to the traditional things to warm themselves, the earthen pots which are called kangdi, using ferns and using those fire places. They are all around the fireplaces, sitting there till afternoon. Yes, sir.
And given the harsh weather, can you also take us through the arrangements made by the administration to ease the difficulties faced by the people?
Obviously, as I said, administration has made all the arrangements. Their contingency plans are in place. They are spreading even salt and those urea on the roads, on the slippery roads, and are making announcements. They have even floated those emergency numbers. They have established those things in all these hospitals, so that in case of emergency there should be no people should not face any kind of hardships. And despite that, they have kept right in Bhadrava 12 snow clearing machines are there in place. As soon as the snow falls, the snow is being cleared from the roads, because this is a very strategic place. It connects, in Jammu and Kashmir is being connected by only one road to the rest of India, that is Lakhanpur, and this is the place where two interstate roads are there. One is Bhadrava Pathankot highway and other is Bhadrava Chamba interstate highway. So they have kept all the machines there so that people should not face any problem after snowfall. But there are some things which cannot be controlled fully.
Right.
Yes, Dipendra.
Tahir, stay warm and thank you for joining us with those updates.
Thank you. Thank you.
Indian High Commission in Colombo hosted the first ever high-level roundtable on India-Sri Lanka partnership on Friday at ICC Ratnadeepa. The event brought together policymakers, experts and opinion leaders to explore opportunities for deepening bilateral cooperation. Indian High Commissioner Santosh Shah underscored the importance of strengthening ties between the two neighbours. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar is on a visit to Bengaluru. Upon his arrival in the city on Saturday, Vice President was welcomed by Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and other dignitaries at the airport. As part of his visit, he also inaugurated 25th National Conference of Chairpersons of State Public Service Commissions. Addressing the conference, Vice President hailed the transparency and accountability in law driven by public policies.
Fortunately, there is emergence of an ecosystem at the moment where transparency and accountability are driven by public policies and also by technological penetration. We are realizing something that had eluded us for long: equality before law. Now, these twin principles of equality before law, transparency and accountability in governance can get cutting edge only when recruit process to the governmental jobs inspires confidence.
Later, Vice President Dhankar also presided as the chief guest at Bharat Electronics Limited Research and Development Function, where he interacted with scientists and officials of nuclear power company. India's Union Home Minister Amit Shah chaired a regional conference on drug trafficking and national security in New Delhi on Saturday. The conference aims to address the growing concern of drug trafficking, its impact on national security. Addressing the conference, Home Minister hailed the record-breaking seizure of drugs worth over 16,000 crores in 2024.
हमारा ड्रग के खिलाफ जो अभियान है वो बहुत पुख्ता हुआ है। मुझे आप सभी को बताते हुए आनंद है कि वर्ष 2024 में जब्त ड्रग की मूल्यों का जो रिकॉर्ड है वो सभी रिकॉर्ड तोड़कर हम 16,914 करोड़ के ड्रग को जब्त करने में देश भर की पुलिस और एनसीबी को सफलता हासिल है। आजादी के बाद का ये सबसे बड़ा आंकड़ा है। यही इंगित करता है कि हमारे प्रयासों को सफलता मिल रही है।
India's Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwani Vaishnav on Saturday launched the Vega processor ASIC at the Centre for Development of Advanced Computing in Pune. The program aims to establish India as a leader in electronics. As part of this, CDAC has developed the Vega series of microprocessors. Addressing the media, the minister said it is Prime Minister Modi's vision to make technology available to all.
10 months back, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji approved India AI mission. And as you know, Prime Minister Modi ji always wants to democratize technology, which means technology should be accessible to all. It should be available to a very large number of people so that the creative energies across the country can be put into use.
And Minister Ashwini Vaishnav also inaugurated a new laptop manufacturing facility in Tambaram near Chennai on Saturday. The minister noted government is taking various measures to promote manufacturing sector, and this factory represents an important step in that direction.
Our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has always inspired us to focus on manufacturing, because manufacturing generates jobs, manufacturing creates employment. Our Prime Minister's continuous work on laying the foundation for Vikasit Bharat, which is developed country, developed India by 2047.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news today. India's Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan flagged off the second edition of Tata Steel Kapilavash Marathon 2025 in Odisha's Dhankana on Saturday. Over 5,000 people took part in marathon with the aim to create awareness on biodiversity, conservation and elephant protection. The death toll in the Assam coal mining tragedy has risen to 4 as rescue operations enter the 6th day. Incident took place in the Mahasao region of Assam. Multiple agencies, including the Indian Army, Navy, NDRF, coal mine teams are involved in the ongoing rescue efforts. Authorities are pumping water out of the deep coal mine and supplying oxygen, maintaining hope for potential survivors. The Indian Army held a free medical camp in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri under Operation Sadbhavna. The initiative aims to provide free medical services in remote parts of Jammu and Kashmir. India commemorates the death anniversary of Lal Bahadur Shastri, the second Prime Minister of the country, on January 11th. He was a leader shaped by traditional political methods, was an experienced freedom fighter, and later developed into a capable head of the biggest democracy in the world. And time now for all the action from the world of sports. Let's first talk about tennis. Defending champions Jannik Sinner and Aryna Sabalenka are favourites to retain their Australian Open, which begins on Sunday. But there are others who could come up the trumps in the men's singles. Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, Alexander Zverev and Daniil Medvedev are potential winners. Sabalenka's wait for a hat-trick of titles starts on the opening day, but Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek and Qing Wen are her biggest threats. The tournament runs from 12th to 26th of January, where the best will be in action. The first Grand Slam of the year, the Australian Open, gets underway in Melbourne on Sunday. Defending champions Jannik Sinner begins his campaign against Nicolas Jarry, while Aryna Sabalenka will be in action in the opening day against Sloane Stephens. Italian world number 1 Sinner is a hot favourite after breakthrough in 2024.
It's a very special place to be back. Many things have changed on and off the court, and I'm very glad that this memory is always or will always be in my mind for so many years. So let's see what I can do this year.
But there are others who could be potential winners of the title. Novak Djokovic bids for his 11th Australian Open title and record 25th Grand Slam crown. Carlos Alcaraz owns 4 Grand Slam titles, but he's yet to go beyond the quarterfinals in Melbourne. Alexander Zverev has been pursuing a Grand Slam breakthrough for nearly a decade. He has finished runner-up at the French Open and the US Open. Daniil Medvedev failed to win a title last year, but has reached 3 of the last 4 Australian Open finals. In the women's singles, Sabalenka is primed to secure an Australian Open hat-trick, having won the past 2 years.
I have a lot of great memories, and to be back here and to walk with this beautiful trophy as a two-time Australian Open champion, it's definitely something special, and I'm really looking forward.
Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek are her biggest threats. Swiatek won her 4th French Open last year and led Poland to United Cup final in Sydney last week. Gauff has enjoyed a stunning few months after winning the US Open in 2023. Chen Quen could be primed for Grand Slam breakthrough after stellar performance in 2024. It is a 15-day tournament which runs from 12th to 26th January, where best players showcase their skill. Sports Desk, TD India. And my colleague Narayan Singh joins us for more updates on Australian Open. Narayan, first, what's the story behind Djokovic's poisoned food controversy just ahead of Australian Open?
But Shubhendu, if we talk about this controversy, with this Novak Djokovic has opened a Pandora box, and such claims we can say that are very, very grave. We can say that what Novak Djokovic said, that he was served poisoned food during his detention in 2022 in a Melbourne hotel. And we also know that there is a love and hate relationship between Australia and Novak Djokovic. In the past, in 2022, he was put in detention in a Melbourne hotel for 5 days, and he was deported from there. And because we know that according to the vaccination rules at that time, he was not vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccine at that time. And that's why he was deported. His lawyers tried best that he could play in the Australian Open that time, but his all attempts fell flat during that time against the deportation. And during that detention process, he claimed recently to a magazine that he was served a poisoned food. When he went back to his home country in Serbia, he discovered through the medical reports that there was a very high concentration of mercury and lead in his body. And if we talk about, we can say that these claims are very serious. And if we talk about the Australian experts and nutritionists, they are saying that it is very unlikely to have very high concentration of these metals in his body, but they didn't rule out this thing entirely, because we know that the experts are saying that he's a vegan. And if you talk about the lead and mercury is very high in the seafood like fish and shellfish, and Djokovic is a vegan. So there is a contradiction in this thing also. But all in all, we can say that these reports, these things, what Novak Djokovic has said should be probed in a better way, because the allegations and what are the comments made by the Djokovic are very grave.
Allegations are serious indeed. Coming to the games, Narayan, how do you map the top favourites to win the Australian Open?
The first Grand Slam of the year, and talking about Novak Djokovic, last year he was a slamless player, didn't win any Grand Slam. Only the Olympic gold in Paris was a bright spot in 2024 for him, and it was not up to the mark according to the standards set by the Novak Djokovic. And if you talk about, he parted away with his coach in 2024, and he had an ankle injury. It was not a good year for him, but this time around he will try to achieve something nobody has achieved, winning the 25th Grand Slam of his career and becoming the best in the number of trophies in the Grand Slam history. If he wins this time around, definitely it will be his 25th, but he will face a stiff challenge from the young players like Carlos Alcaraz. And the way Jannik Sinner is playing last year in 2024, they both shared the 4 Grand Slam between them, winning the 2-2 each, and definitely going to be a tough competition for the Novak Djokovic. And the way Jannik Sinner played throughout the year, he won. The way he's a defending champion in the Australian Open too, and so this time around he will look to repeat that feat what he achieved the last year. And Carlos Alcaraz, the way the tennis he is playing towards the end of the year, he will try to continue. And in the women's segment, Aryna Sabalenka, the fantastic tennis she is playing, she will try to replicate the feat she did the last year, and she could get a stiff challenge from the way Iga Swiatek played. So all in all, going to be great competition this time around.
There, Narayan, thank you for joining us with those updates. And from tennis to cricket, India's cricketing legend Rahul Dravid, who is also known as the Wall, turned 52 on Saturday. Born in Indore, Dravid scored over 13,000 runs in Test cricket and over 10,000 runs in ODIs. Was known for his remarkable technique and ability to anchor innings. Dravid played a significant role in some of India's greatest Test victories. Was the first player to face over 30,000 deliveries in Test cricket. Dravid has served as the coach of India Under-19 and India A teams. Notably, he was the head coach of the national team which won the T20 World Cup last year. Tamil Nadu Dragons' solid defence helped them manage a 2-1 win over Bengal Tigers in a Hockey India League clash in Odisha on Friday. Meanwhile, the Tigers suffered a second consecutive defeat. In a goalless first quarter, Dragons raised the tempo, got 2 short corners in the last few minutes, but could not capitalise. In the last 6 minutes, Dragons were down to 9 men and even conceded a penalty corner. Its united and calm backline withstood the pressure. The Dragons have got their third win, enabling them to leapfrog the Tigers and take the top spot. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.